belongs to Tennessee, and she's going to give us a program.
Well, I'm going to start by thanking Ms. Judy here for inviting me to be here and you all allowing me to come and kind of share my story. So I'm Miss Wheelchair Tennessee 2018 for about another week and a half or so. So this is one of my last events for the year. But I have been traveling all over the state of Tennessee speaking to different groups this year. I was Junior Miss Wheelchair Tennessee in 2001 and saw a lot of value in the program and really wanted to give back to that program. And so I competed. Didn't win my first time, which is okay. It just fueled me to come back and figure out what all I wanted to do if I were to win later. So I came back and won. And then I represented Tennessee a couple months ago at the Miss Wheelchair America competition, and Miss Judy helped me out with some of my costumes and dresses and things like that. But this has been a really wonderful year. It's nice to kind of come back near my hometown and have my mom here. But I pretty much have spoken to every group of people that you could possibly think of this year. Everything from disabled veterans about adaptive housing grants to 3 and 4-year-olds to college campuses to women in a drug and life alcohol recovery program. So I've been pretty busy. I'm on the Mayor's Committee for People with Disabilities, and that will be up to 4-year term that I'll get to send to be a part of that. And basically that means that we come and present issues that are happening in Nashville that need to be changed, whether it's sidewalks need to be repaired, or there's construction that's obstructing a ramp, or they've changed a path for someone with a vision impairment and they haven't let them know. And so we address all of those issues, and it's been really rewarding to be a part of something bigger than myself. But part of what I've also been doing this year, and I mentioned it earlier, I'm a thyroid cancer survivor. So part of what I try to do when I come in and I meet all these different groups of people is I share that part of my story. A lot of people look at the wheelchair and they think, oh, that has to be horrible, and honestly, it's been a blessing. I've got to meet so many people. It's changed my perspective on life. And it actually helped when I went through the cancer thing. I'm a few months away from remission, finally. And yeah. But this year has meant so much to me. And I knew I was going to get emotional. But when she asked me to come, I said, tell me when to come and what would you like me to talk about? And I don't really know what else you all might want to know about me, but I'm married to a disabled veteran who's also in a wheelchair. We've been together for 11 years, so I think we're doing something right. And beyond that, I'm a writer, so I write things that I feel like can help other people's lives. I share my experience as a cancer survivor, as a wheelchair user, as a wife, whatever it may be, whatever's on my heart at the time. And then I also do adaptive YouTube videos. So I show people kind of how I do things in my day-to-day life. And that has reached an incredible amount of people that I never expected it to reach. So a couple of people have asked me, what's next? That's something I'm going to focus on. I want to write a book after this. And just keep meeting as many people as I can and trying to make a difference. So and actually, I heard I didn't mention why I'm in a wheelchair. I was born with a disability called spina bifida, which is a birth defect that affected my spine. So I'm an incomplete injury, which means that I can still feel my legs, I can still stand and take a few steps, but because my hip is dislocated on the right side, it causes pain and I have to use the chair. And again, a lot of people look at the wheelchair and they think, oh, that has to be so terrible, and there are so many limitations, but it gave me independence. And so that's one thing that I really want to share with people that maybe look at disability in a different way, is it doesn't have to be a negative. And different doesn't have to be bad. I meet children all the time, and children are so open-minded, and they love it, and they want to know more. And that's what I want to encourage people to realize, is it's okay to be curious. It's okay to embrace who you are and, answer people's questions. So, kind of with that.
Well, I'm going to talk to you
Okay.
about, and you will share with the rest of them, the wheelchair deal. She went to prom in this wheelchair, decorated the wheels to match her dress. Understand? I've known her since baby time. I knew about her. I knew her. But there are things that she's not sharing. She's had some difficult times. She would get emotional about that, I'm sure. But look at her today and what she's done and who she is. Pretty lady.
Yes, very pretty.
Yes, she is.
Do you have any questions for this pretty lady?
I do. Did you have to have perform, do some kind of performance for your competition?
For the state competition and the national competition, because again, I went to America a couple months ago. State, you have to prepare a 2-minute speech on your platform, and my platform is the importance of resources, because being a wheelchair user and cancer survivor, I could not have gotten through the hard times without the resources. And a great mom. She helped me shine. Shine is my mantra. It's that for a reason. And again, I want people to realize you can go through hard things, you can have difficult times, but it's what you do with that moving forward that matters, and how you use it to make a difference. And so, yeah, there are hard times. It's all a learning process, but that's what it is. And you can use your story to help other people that might be going through the same thing. And so that's what I try to do with it.
Children want to know, is it fun to ride in a wheelchair? They want to know that. Is this fun? Well, if you can't walk, it's fun. But let me tell you about driving this little sports car out here. She pulls up to the house and she turns around and she pops that chair out there and puts those wheels on it. I'm thinking, can I help you? She says, no, I can do it myself. Don't you?
I'm also very stubborn. My mom can attest to that too. But it's done me good. It's given me a way to do things that work for me, because it's different for everybody. So
I love your attitude, and you've
Thank
got
you.
a sweet smile.
thank you.
And
How old are you?
33 now. Just trying to read. I know.
and your husband's in a wheelchair also.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. He's 35. He got injured in a motorcycle accident in 2001 while he was active in the Marine Corps, and it was a blessing. We ended up meeting about 9 months after his injury, and if you look at my little pamphlet that I passed out, I have my whole full story on there, but part of what I do as a writer is I have a personal website, and again, the reason I picked the website Meant to Be Lindsay B is because everything you go through, good or bad, is meant to be. And my story with him was very meant to be. Not only did we meet, but we crossed paths again 2 years later. And I never imagined that I would end up marrying an amazing man in a wheelchair. But that's what was meant to be for my life. And we have a really, really wonderful marriage and life together. And
I just pray for both of you from now on.
thank you.
Just, we'll do that.
Well, I think
She
that's
walked
what
down
kind
the
of brought
aisle.
him into her life, with some prayers for a good man for my daughter.
She walked down the aisle to get married. She came to me and said, that's all I want to do, is be able to just, and so with a little bit of help, we did it, didn't we? See, I've had a lot of interesting adventures too. I've gotten to help a lot of people. But this one is special.
Yeah, she gave me confidence on my wedding day. She told me what I needed to know to make sure that I got down there, and I felt pretty. And
Well, you were pretty.
and I had my wheelchair at the front with my husband, so it was kind of a symbolic of joining
Yeah.
our lives together. So we're best of
Managed.
worlds. So I mean, you adapt. That's, you know, what other choice do you have? You can be miserable, or you can take your circumstances and turn it into something positive and meaningful. And that's what I try to do. So, does anybody have any questions?
Are there any other questions?
Well, mine's not a question, but I have a cousin born with spina bifida. She could walk with hand braces for when she was young. Her parents got her a golf cart when she went to college. She's now a professor at, she was at Kennesaw University. I don't know if she's still there or not. I don't keep, she's a district governor, but you can do those things for your spine.
Absolutely.
I was gonna ask about your writing talent. Have you always been a little girl that liked to write? Or-
No.
Is there-
No, actually, I started writing out of emotional survival. With my thyroid cancer, I was diagnosed at 27. You don't expect that to happen, and no, and I was misdiagnosed at a higher staging than I actually was for the first year, and so dealing with a misdiagnosis and thinking things are much worse than they were. And then taking my life into my own hands and finding the right doctor after that was a big thing for me. And so I try to be a resource for that. You know, wheelchair stuff. I've met with parents who have children with disabilities that have gone through some of the programs that made a difference in my life. And so, you know, this year has been very full circle because I've gotten to share my whole story. And it's been better than I ever imagined this year could ever be, so.
Lindsay, you personify the old saying, you can take lemons and you can make lemonade. You have made gallons of sweet lemonade.
Any other questions?
I have a comment. Is pink your favorite color, or is it just because it's girly color?
A little bit of both.
Okay.
I kind of just embrace it now. I'm kind of known as the girl with the pink wheels, so.
Is it a smaller wheelchair?
This one's, it's custom made for me, for my leg length and how
Okay,
wide,
okay.
and so that's another thing that if you're not familiar, you think you just go get any old chair,
That's
but
right.
when you're having to, in my case, lift it up and take it apart, you want it to be as lightweight and
Yes.
easy to maneuver as possible, so, yeah, it's custom
And
made.
it's darling.
And it fits
The
me.
pink is right.
Well, I just thought it was made to match your costumes.
We could do that too if I wanted to.
You chose the costumes on how the wheelchair, right?
She was also a circus star in this pink wheelchair.
I've got a couple of pictures, some, I think, back there.
There's a scrapbook back there that you can look at with some of,
And it has my whole year of everything that I've gotten to do. I've spoken.
and that good-looking husband's in there
Oh,
too.
yeah. I do include him.
What is his name?
Wesley.
Wesley, okay.
Yeah, he's a computer programmer for the government, so he's a computer guy. He helps me run my website. Well, thank you so much
Thank
for having
you.
me today.
Thank you. Thank you, Valerie, for taking off from work and coming and being with us.